Won't you take me back to Tennessee?
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest info about hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. This episode is brought to you by GSM Outdoors, whose vision is to preserve the sportsman's legacy, fuel innovation, and enable the next generation of outdoor enthusiasts. Think outside. That's where you'll find us. Now, make welcome your host, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We're glad you're tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don, we got a great show lined up for you today.
We do.
I'm excited to be here at Thlete Outdoors, and we're going to be talking about the 25 years of elk reintroduction.
Exactly.
And a special youth hunt that happened this year that it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, and we're setting the record for attendance here on a WildCast, too, with guests. This is great. This is really good.
Yeah, we've got a room full of folks here today, and we'll introduce those guys in just a second. But first, Don, do you want to give us a radio shout-out?
Yeah, speaking of radio stations celebrating anniversaries, WSM here in town is celebrating their 100th anniversary with the Grand Ole Opry, and so anyway, yeah, we're right in line with them, and it's only fitting that we get to celebrate 25 years of having elk returned back to Tennessee, and I'm excited to say that I was there on that day. It all started in the planning stages way before that date, but I'll start off with the date, because we got up there the night before at Royal Blue and stayed over so we could get an early start with the elk release. And it was great that the planning went into effect. They had school buses lined up from the county, and everybody was going to. There were going to be a lot of kids were going to be able to shuttle their way up to the side of the mountain, because it's mining roads, so it's not like, you gotta have four-wheel drive to make it up there to where that first release was. And lo and behold, snow hits the night before the release. Wow. And everybody's going, oh no, this is awful, this is terrible. And I'm thinking, this is going to make some great video and pictures. This is going to be so beautiful. And so we were already up there, and we got out there that morning, and sure enough, it was just gorgeous. There was a coat of snow, and the trailers got opened, and the elk got released one at a time from the trailers. But like I said, early on, the planning went into this thing was tremendous, and we had 2 drivers per four-wheel drive truck that hauled the trailers back from Elk Island National Park, Alberta, Canada. That was where the animals came from. They were tested and retested to make sure there was no CWD strain or any disease whatsoever within the population that we were bringing back to Tennessee. That all happened ahead of time, like I said, and they were trailered up, and they made the trek to Tennessee. Probably, I'm thinking it was like a 3-day journey, but it was tandem driving, so that there were stops for pauses for the cause and coffee refills, maybe some sandwiches to go, and that was about it. The elk got watered on the way down too, and but anyway, the animals got to camp out in the trailer the night the snow hit. So it was only fitting too that, that's what they're used to. Yeah, that's right. Being from Alberta, so yeah, cool. So they probably felt right at home when those doors opened up and the animals came off the trailer. But we've got a video. Elk Return to Tennessee is there's some of my shots on there. I got to crouch down right next to one of the trailers, and it was, you could feel the hooves hitting the ground as they hit the ground.
As they run out.
Coming to Tennessee. So it was really cool. And Tennessee's Wild Side was there, our television show that was on the air for 15 years. That was the first year for the TV show as well. So Barry Cross was there shooting video, and Ken Tucker, and So I used a lot of that in the video I put together, and they have a great video from the television show. So there's a lot to look at on YouTube to kind of relive the moment. So you can go online and check it out.
Well, I got to live the last release in 2008. So when I came on with the agency, and I got to experience the last release that we did, and then the first hunt was in 2009, and we got to be there for that. So it was kind of like an elk camp, and we got to hang out and at least be around. So when that first elk was killed in Tennessee, and Chuck Flynn, that name just came to me. Chuck Flynn was the guy who killed the first elk in Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
And Night and Hell was with him as a guide, so that was really cool.
Videoed at the same time.
Yeah. Video. We had a video guy with them, and they had a camera crew.
And a lot of the hunters camped out at Terry Lewis's place right there, and he had tents, and it was just a magic moment, really.
Mm-hmm. And then today, there's 19 tags, and one of those lucky winners is with us today. So I'm excited to share this story of this year's youth hunt in the 25th year of having elk in Tennessee. So our guest today, Adrian Wilson, is to Don's right. He's a friend of Andrew's, the dad here with us today, Andrew Wood, and he kind of helped orchestrate and get everybody together for the hunt, and introduced Andrew, and Gavin is our hunter. Introduced Gavin to Rick Taylor, and Rick Taylor is with us today. So we got a good group of folks here today, and we're going to relive the hunt and tell the story, and I'm excited to hear about it. First, I want to thank William with Thlete for having us here in his showroom.
This is a nice place to do this.
Here in Franklin, Tennessee, Thlete Outdoors. If you don't know them, go look them up online and check out some of their hunting gear, their clothing, layer systems that are just phenomenal. So, and Adrian can speak to that for sure, but go check them out. It's a really cool product.
Yep. Got a little bit of everything for whatever you're looking for weather-wise, so that's good. I do have one question.
Sure.
How many elk were initially released? I don't remember that number.
50 animals.
50 animals.
Wow.
And now we're up to around
700, I think, is what the wardens or the biologists told me when we were up there this year.
That's good to know. I hadn't relived those numbers or talked to anybody about that lately. So, we've got a good, healthy population up there. We're able to have 19 tags. Now it's grown to that in the last couple of years, I believe. So anyway, it's awesome. Well, let's dive in. First, Gavin, thank you for being with us. This is your moment to shine here.
Nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. We're just going to relive that day and kind of going up, getting up to that point, because this was your first big game hunt, right?
Yes. So we signed up for it because we had moved to Livingston, so Middle Tennessee last year, at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And I asked my dad the year prior if we could sign up, and he said once we move. So we moved, and I put in, and I was like, hey, I told my friends, I was like, we're going to get to go elk hunting if I get drawn. My dad's like, no, there's a chance you can get drawn. So it was
But you pretty well knew it was going to happen, right?
I was hoping so.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he definitely was telling everybody, hey, me and Daddy's going elk hunting in the fall.
All right.
I was like,
I like that positive thinking.
and
That's the story I heard, too.
it was just, he was telling anybody that would listen. Yep.
Yeah, but it was about a week after my birthday, and I texted my dad and was like, hey, did you get an email yet? And he's like, no, not yet. And like 5 minutes later, he calls back, Gavin, you got in. And we lost our minds.
Oh, man, I bet.
I was out of town, and literally, we got off the phone, I checked the email, and I think the subject line says something like, you've been drawn, Gavin's been drawn, something like that. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And sure enough, it was true. It was a real email. It wasn't a spam. And I called him, and we lost our minds. And I was like, man, we're going elk hunting. I probably should call some friends and talk about what that involves.
What to do next, because this was your first big game animal, right?
Yes,
You've squirrel hunted and things like that, fished and whatnot, but this was your first big game hunt.
Yeah.
Well, the
one
good
I
thing
actually
is,
killed on. So.
And the good thing is, getting drawn like this, you get you get some stuff to go along with it, right? I mean,
Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got blessed with a few things, and I'll let Adrian tell that story.
Yeah, well, Andrew calls me and goes, hey, buddy, I know you do some stuff in the outdoor industry. This is what's happened, and I'm not really sure what step to take. And I was like, I'm very happy for him. And I'm like, man, I put in that for years.
Exactly.
But that was short
That
lived.
aside,
And
yeah.
I was like, so, okay. And Andrew and I have known each other for around 20 years. And you know how it goes. Life happens. We're not in contact all the time, but he knew did some stuff with the outdoor industry. And I was like, I'm thinking, okay, Tennessee boy, Tennessee elk. I work with a Tennessee camo company. And I was like, and I knew William. I mean, William's got a great big heart with this company.
Yeah.
And so I was like, do y'all have any camo? He's like, not really. And so called William, told him. He's like, yes. I mean, immediately we're in. He goes, let's find him a guide. Tell him we'll film the whole thing. Because we didn't want to put pressure, though.
Yeah.
Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, you don't want to mess it up.
And
Yeah.
we wanted it to be special for them. And so then I put I reached out to Rick and put them two in contact.
Yeah, we just happened to live 30 minutes down the road from each other.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in Cookville there in Livingston, so it was great.
Yeah.
Even had him out to the farm a couple times to get his rifle, make sure he was dialed in there. So we good to go.
Yeah,
for the hunt.
we met at the Waffle House.
Yes.
Rick and I,
Best place.
and it was
The
the
Southern
first.
thing.
It was the first time I've ever almost been in tears at a Waffle House. Is when Rick said, "Well, here's the thing. I'm guiding the hunt, and Thlete is part of it." And I thought,
Oh,
are you
man.
kidding me?" And so we went outside. We FaceTime with the family, and William's been great too. We brought the whole family. I have 6 kids and my wife, and we came here, and kids were running around everywhere, and it just was a really really special moment.
That's awesome. Yeah, to be blessed that way, it's amazing. So, you got the gear, you got the guide. What's up next? You got to do a little scouting and find these elk, right?
I had some cameras running. I had so I've been fortunate to guide for about 10 years now, and it's I may never get drawn, but I've been fortunate to be a part of a bunch of elk hunts up there, and so I've had cameras running in a couple different zones, and contact with another guide that was on another zone. So. Kind of new, and I had one big bull that was in a really good area. It's the same area that the zone 1 where the when they get the TWRF gets the tag, and that hunter gets assigned to that zone, and had a really big bull. We killed one during archery in that zone. Had another big bull, and I kind of nicknamed him Red October. So going into Gavin's hunt, this was the hunt for Red October, and we spent some time on another mountain area and stuff, but we ended up back over there.
Yeah, so just so I'm clear, and I should know this, I guess, but what does the youth tag, they get a game at all units?
That's
or
right.
any
So
unit?
the youth tag can go to any zone.
That's right, okay.
This year they were after the archery, then the rifle, and then the youth hunt. So we kind of had our pick of the litter to pick a zone. We had a couple big bulls on one of the other zones that we gave it a good run, man. We talked about it before we got started here, probably 10, 11 miles on the boots that day, and ended up back looking for Red October, and man, we made a day of it.
Yeah.
We all talked about it. It felt like it was probably like 2-3 days for a one-day hunt. Just how it started. So,
Well, and Rick was sending us pictures of this elk, and I'm showing Gavin, and I'm like, man, look, this is the opportunity we have. So we've been prepping, and I've been telling Gavin, visualize, and we've been prepping for that. Hopefully get a chance to see that elk, but I'll let Gavin walk you through that day because we saw a number of elk. But
get up early. I'm sure. Tell us how it all went down.
Well, we got up at 4:30, 5 o'clock probably, and Adrian and William met up with us at the campsite. So we all rode up to the first unit we went up to, and the night before we had walked out just to scout, see if we could see anything. We saw a bull. So we were walking in.
Big bull.
really big bull.
And we were walking in on the road, and we went a couple miles back maybe, and we saw elk in the road right around shooting light.
like right at shooting line.
Yeah.
And it was kind of quartering away. Most of its head was in the brush. Kind of looked back, really uncertain what it was.
Yeah.
That little gray light period, you couldn't see well, but you saw the profile.
You could tell it was a good bull, but it wasn't 100%.
Right.
So we
Know your target and beyond, right?
Yeah, we passed on him, and I think we turned around and walked back to some different spots, and we're hoping for some bulls to come out. They didn't come out. So we went back to the trucks, rode up the mountain some more, and then went to another unit. Adrian and Rick had seen a 6x7 and 7x7 in the day before. So we were walking down, and there's like this big machine, and we were walking there, and we see 2 bulls, Spike and a 5x6. So we get set up, and I have a perfect rest arm sitting on the
It's a greater tire.
Oh, yeah.
Side.
Yeah. So we did that, and they kept looking into the woods. So we were like, there might be a bigger bull in there. So we waited, and then they made their way into the woods. So we walked through, got on top of a hill, and just kind of sat there till about 10. And then we moved out of there, rode down the mountain, and then went to a different zone completely.
After breakfast.
After
Yeah.
breakfast.
Don't forget breakfast.
Don't forget that.
Sorry.
So none of these, they weren't offering the shot. Is that the case? Or were you passing?
I passed on the 5x6
Okay. Passed
and
on
the
it.
first bull that we saw. So
It's not over.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it gets
Yeah,
better.
Just
it gets
wait.
better.
Okay.
It gets better. So we went to another spot, and this was getting closer to noon, and we saw 2 cows in the woods, and the place we were at was like woods on either side of it, and then there was a flat field, and you could tell elk had been in there, real trampled down, but we saw 2 cows, so we made it. We went back out and went and got lunch. Went back out to where Red October had been being, and then we get in there, get set up in the wood line. Rick's crunching some limbs to get me a shooting line, and out pops the bull
Yeah,
right
we're-
over the hill.
We're in this right in this corner, and I'm just breaking stuff so he can see out in the field. Then I said, "Bull, nobody move." I got Adrian and Andrew right here to my right, and Williams with the camera right here too. And this bull walks into 25
was so
yards,
It was really
6x6.
Probably could have
Beautiful
killed
bull.
him.
Oh,
So
we,
close.
we'd probably only been there 10 minutes. We literally
Yeah.
just
That bull
in.
walked out because I was breaking
Yeah.
leaves or breaking limbs,
Yeah.
and he thought, "Well, there's a bull over there
Yeah.
thrashing." And
I had about 4 opportunities to shoot him broadside at 25 yards.
Wait. 6x6.
Yeah.
Beautiful big bull, and you let this guy go.
Yeah, because he looked smaller than the one I saw in the pictures. So I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to pull the trigger.
So and as he's there, I'm standing there. You know, I'm far enough away I can't talk to him, and I'm going, "What is he doing, Gavin? What do you take the shot? What are you doing? This is the one." You know, and every adult that was there is thinking and saying the same thing, and he just was very much confident.
Except
Nope.
the guide has to stay neutral.
Yeah, that's true.
Gavin
That's
is
true.
sitting right here, and I said, and I even pulled my phone out in video. I said, "What do you think?" Gun's laying on his lap. He's like, "I don't know. I think I can find a bigger one."
Yep.
Like, no pressure on the guide. No, I said, "Okay."
We've got video of this bull, and it's a dandy bull.
It is. a
is.
very good
But it's
bull.
not the bull Gavin wants.
Yep.
That's right.
All right.
So we went back to camp and waited a couple hours. Rick took him a little power nap.
Oh yeah, in a hammock. It was beautiful.
Me and my dad, he had a little meeting with me. So
I love that.
That is a true. That is
he
true.
had some comments to say about
That's
that.
true. He was
but-
mic'd up, so who knows? It may be in the video.
Well, and what's funny about that, William comes back to me and says, "Hey, Andrew," he goes, "Andrew just said, hey, we forgot he was mic'd up. Just, you don't have to use any of those comments." It wasn't nothing ugly, but I haven't heard it. I
Yeah.
don't know what it
Yeah, it
said.
was
but
nothing
it was kind
ugly.
of funny that William said, Andrew told me to disregard whatever he heard on the.
You know, we had a
Good dad talk.
we had a dad-son moment.
Hey, that happens. Yeah.
Sometimes those come to Jesus meetings. They're neat.
And two, you know, one thing that I told him was, look, buddy, none of us drew the tag. Mm-hmm. You know, this is your hunt. We could see something bigger. We may not see anything. And I said, this is like your coming to manhood moment. So you got to own this decision, whether we see anything or not. You got to own this decision. And he was like, I did, and I will. And he told me, he said, Daddy, I didn't have butterflies. And I was like, well, that's a good thing. So shoot the bull, you know. and he was like, no, but I just didn't have the. I said, okay. And then I'll let you go from there.
So then we went back to that same spot and we parked the trucks, turn it off. We get out and bugle immediately. So we're like, go time. We get over the fence, the gate. We get over, start walking, and we get to one spot, and we can kind of see their feet moving through the woods. William's the first one who spotted them, said there were two. So we moved to a second spot, and there's
I kind of lay it out. So we're on a big field walking from the truck. We got to go over a hill, cross this wide open sun-filled field to get down to the shade and make our way in to where it's a 2-track going from that big field into the next field where there's a pond there. Right at that corner from where the 2-track dumps into the field, we had sat right there earlier when he passed that bull. So those bulls were to the right in there, and we were to the left. That was the first spot. Second spot, we're in the 2-track in the shade, waiting to see where they're at.
And then we moved to the third spot, so we just walked that 2-track to the end of that wood line, set up right there, and it kind of lays out where there's like a hill that rises up here, and they were down in the lower part into the woods, but you can't see them. So Rick said just get trained on the tree limb that's laying down there, get everything sighted in, he'll come out around there. So then I'm waiting there, and then I hear Rick go, bull, bull, bull. So I look up, and he's coming up over the hill, and I'm like, oh.
See this?
It's
all you can see is
it's
horn.
unbelievable.
And he was answering because Rick was bugling.
Yeah.
It was
he was set up on a tripod, had him facing where we'd seen the legs before we stepped into that spot, and I turned around and bugled away from us, and next thing you know, it's that.
It was like a majestic thing. Like it was the afternoon sun coming up on that ridge when he come up over the rise just with horns, and I'm back with Andrew, Rick, and William, and Gavin, and then
buddy Keith was there with us too. Yeah.
And not to take away, but that thing comes up, and we're just like, okay, he better shoot this.
Yeah. There would definitely been a moment where the mic would have been turned off, and we'd have had a conversation.
So you're hearing the theme music playing and everything.
The Hunt for Red October.
Keep in mind, this is day one. This is day one, because I heard Gavin say, "Dad, we got all week." I saw Andrew like.
Yeah. Oh, we don't. We had a newborn at home. Like my wife was like, "You don't have all week."
Yeah.
Let's not go crazy. But yeah, when it came up, to see the best way I can explain it is like at the end of Bambi. Spoiler alert if you've not seen Bambi, but at the end, except a lot bigger. But as you just saw this rack pop over that ridge, and we're all back there going. I mean, I literally said out loud, whispering like, "That's him. That is," and it was. Gavin was right. The one we saw earlier that day was not Red October, and the one that we were looking at was.
Yeah.
So it was the bull.
Yes.
All right.
And I was a little nervous because he came up and just stood there, so I had a frontal shot on him, and I'm still looking at him, and Rick, I'm sure, is looking at him, not looking at me, and goes, "Get on the gun." And I'm like, oh, maybe I should do that too. So I get on the gun, and he tells me where to aim, so I get right where I want to, and I keep like asking him to make sure, can I aim here? Okay, I should aim here. Trying to stall to see if he turns, because I don't want to shoot frontal. And then finally I was like, okay, I don't want him to go away.
Yeah.
So I take it off safety, put my finger on the trigger, and he turns broadside. I'm like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
So I moved the gun just slightly left and aim right where I know I should and shoot, and he doesn't even run. He just kind of
turns and goes, disappeared right over the hill again.
So then
all the high fives.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Again,
we're going nuts.
Then we calmed back down, and Rick was like, "Okay, let's go up there and see if we can see anything." And he told Adrian, my dad, and the Keith, our buddy that we had there, stay back. We'll just take William and us so he can film if something happens. So we walked up there, and
we kind of skirted around. I didn't want to walk straight to it. Kind of skirted around that way we could get a visual if he was still standing up, you know.
And then we got up there. So once we got on top, we were kind of looking around to see if we could see him laid down. And I see a tree limb. I'm like, is that? No, that's not him. That's a tree limb. So then he says, Rick goes, you look for blood. I'm going to call your dad up here. And that was a lie.
I had already. I saw the bull.
Yeah.
I saw his side. But he was low enough. And I was like, look, let's go back to where he was standing, see if we can find blood. I wanted everybody to be there when he put his hands and saw that bull, you know, and
that's awesome.
It was pretty special. You know, we all went into that morning together, that night together, everything. You know, we'd pushed this whole thing from the beginning, and it was only fitting. So when everybody came up, I told Andrew and Gavin, I said, y'all make your way that way. Follow the direction he went toward the woods. See if you can pick up blood. Mm-hmm. And of course, they were walking right to the bull.
Yeah.
So I looked up and was like, "There he is."
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, just an incredible experience all the way through it. From a dad's perspective, having buddies that we want to rejoice with those who rejoice. And sometimes we struggle to be, I know there's been jokes about, I put my name in the hat and haven't, but there was none of that. There was only like, as a dad, to watch other dudes and other dads and other men celebrate your son. And it, I don't think anybody there was like, man, I wish the gun was in my hand. I think everybody was like, how does it get any better than this? And from a dad, like, how does it get any better? Like, it was just absolutely incredible. And to share that moment. And then the fact that William and Thlete and Adrian made it happen where I had my brother text me, he's like, send me the video. I was like, I didn't even have my phone out. I was able to just be plugged in and engaged and not be trying to do that. So it was just, it's something that we'll carry for forever.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And then we got the elk loaded into Rick's truck, and then we brought it back to the campsite, and it's like we were movie stars.
So you had a whole group of people gathered around and giving you high fives.
Random people give me pats on the backs and hugs. And I'm like, okay, little handsy, but okay. Adrian saw one dude, and Adrian came over and was like, "How you doing, Gavin?" Just trying to get the dude to kind of back away.
He was a space invader.
It was incredible, man. It was just a really cool experience, and you lead up to that moment and you think about it and you visualize it, and it just doesn't do it justice until you're there.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I think it would be amazing to experience that. I'm glad you guys got to do that, just to see it all happen and be a part of it. And like you said, to share that with friends and other guys and that just are just happy for him, to harvest that. It's like our lives change when we have kids, and it's like, do you want him or her to take the deer or take the elk or whatever? So,
and our agency's worked for 25 years to make that happen, plus the planning that went into the original release too. So coming full circle.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see that elk in person one day, maybe on the wall somewhere. That's awesome. Congratulations. Maybe you'll get drawn again for a deer hunt or something.
Maybe.
Well, then we do want to thank the agency and thank the state of Tennessee for making this happen and for making dreams come true for not just youth, but for adults too. So thank y'all for making that happen. Thank you. For sure.
A lot of dedicated individuals who love to pass on the tradition of the outdoors, and that's why they do what they do. So we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, this is Tennessee WildCast. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's going to be a hard one to beat, but keep coming back, keep watching, keep listening, and we'll see you next time.
Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can invest in Tennessee's wildlife future by purchasing a license at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com. That's GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.